is happy, I shall start the meeting. And I see that it is being recorded. My name is Councillor Richard Dixon. I am the Mayor of Kenilworth, which actually makes me technically the chair of the council. And it is my privilege to chair this town assembly meeting this evening. First of all, welcome to everybody who has joined the meeting. This is not a council meeting as such, so welcome to you all as residents and electors in the town, whether you are a councillor or not. The purpose of the meeting is very simply to share with local residents what your town council has been doing in your name during the past year. That's the year ended 31st of March, and to look forward briefly to developments which might affect our community in the coming year. So I'm going to share with you a presentation and deliver a report, copies of which will be placed online. And if you wish to have your own individual copy sent to you, that can certainly be done. So bear with me whilst I very briefly get this presentation up. If you don't wish to be recorded, please do stop the video on your feed there. One moment, let me just see if I can find this. Okay. Okay, can you all see that? If somebody could give me an indication with a
yes, we can see.
up.
You just need to put it into presentation mode now, Richard.
I can see it in presentation mode. Can you not see it in presentation?
No, don't you see the PowerPoint as it is? You just need to.
For some unknown reason, it's saying it's paused. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Yep.
Has it gone again, or have you all got?
Good. That's ready. It's in presentation mode. It's ready to go.
Fine. Okay. So here's the format for this evening. Well, at least it could be if it was working. Paused showing resume. So yes, we're in. Welcome. We have to deal with the matters arising from the 2019 town assembly, the last time we held a town assembly. I will present a report and then we will have the opportunity to respond, or I will, as chair of the meeting, to the two questions which I'm very grateful local residents have sent in. So I'm going to ask the clerk, Maggie Field, are there any matters arising from the 2019 town assembly? I know it's difficult to remember back that far.
Yeah. So one of the previous matters arising was related to the railway station. So further to questions submitted to the last town assembly, the mayor reported that regarding Kenilworth railway station, a Sunday service had been confirmed with effect from the 19th of May. The mayor also confirmed that as regards concerns about traffic congestion, the response made reference to the proposed neighbourhood plan after a successful referendum. Neighbourhood plan was officially made. They were the only matters.
Yes, I do recall both of those. Obviously, there's been quite a lot of changes in the train service since then. A Sunday service was introduced and actually did prove popular, both for residents and also tourists visiting the town. And as I'll mention during my report, as residents will know, The train service was suspended by West Midland Railways in January this year, but restarted today, albeit on a limited 2-hourly basis. But as far as I'm aware, I haven't got the knowledge of the exact timetable in my head as to whether that includes Sundays or not. I certainly hope it does, and I will make reference in my report to the Kenilworth Recovery Group and the work they'll be doing to boost the train service, including at weekends as well. So I think that deals with the matters arising. Shall I move on to present my annual report? And then, so the format of the annual report, basically there were 6 sections I'm going to cover, which are set out there. Talk about how the council's been run, which has been very unique in the past year, what we've been doing to invest in Kenilworth, planning and development matters, finances, and then briefly looking forward. Now, obviously, the work of the Town Council doesn't take place in a vacuum, and it's right that this report starts with a general review of what life has been like in Kenilworth in the past 12 months, because there's never been a year quite like the last one. In April 20, it wasn't possible to have a town assembly because we just not long entered the first period of lockdown. None of us probably expected, let alone welcomed the prospect of having to endure 3 periods of lockdown in the past 12 months. And life in the past year has been very difficult for everyone. More than 45 citizens of the town have sadly died with COVID-19 referenced on their death certificates. More than 800 residents have tested positive for COVID-19 in Kenilworth, and hundreds of people, including especially the clinically extremely vulnerable, have had to self-isolate and been unable to go out. People have had to work from home as local businesses have closed. Many shops have been closed for nearly 12 months, and hospitality businesses have had to make huge changes in the way they operate. Our leisure facilities and faith buildings have been closed for prolonged periods, and our schools have had to double up to offer both the face-to-face learning for some pupils and simultaneously online support for pupils learning at home. The train service, as I mentioned earlier, at our station has been suspended for 3 months, and our local printed newspaper, the Kenilworth Weekly News, has been consumed within the Leamington Courier and no longer has any dedicated Kenilworth reporter. Community events also, such as the Fireworks Gala, the Carnival, the Two Castles Run, the Duck Race, have all had to be cancelled, and as a result, tourism, which is so important to Kenilworth's economy, has been hit badly. The physical impact of COVID-19 has been bad enough. The mental and emotional impact even bigger and will be more long-lasting. We've all had to get used to accepting restrictions on freedoms which previously we took for granted, the freedom to go where we want, with whom, and whenever suited us. And yet, the town's sense of community, creativity, and culture has probably never been stronger. We all rightly clapped our amazing local NHS care and frontline key workers, and groups like the COVID-19 Support Kenilworth Group helped us care for our neighbours like never before, delivering more than 7,000 prescriptions, 4,000 meals to local vulnerable residents. Staff and pupils at all our schools have amazingly continued to learn. Businesses have adapted how they worked, and we've enjoyed walking in our green spaces and working on our allotments to reach a deeper appreciation of the beauty of our environment. These are some things which we can and should take forward. Some community groups like the Arts Festival, who are active in Talisman Square, the Royal British Legion, who took up a pop-up shop to sell poppies, and the Lions Club with their online Christmas Carol event, have found new ways to deliver some aspects of their traditional activities. And local community journalism is alive and well too, thanks to the launch this past year of Kenilworth Nub News with its dedicated Kenilworth reporter. Throughout all this unique year, your town council has continued to operate, albeit in a very different way to before. So I'll now talk briefly about how we've been working. Before reporting on what the council has been doing, it's important to say how it's been working. It's not just because it's been working in a very different way, for which huge thanks to all the staff in Jubilee House, but also because how things are done is the basis of trust, which we hope residents have in their council. To put it bluntly, If trust is absent, then democracy is undermined as a result. Irrespective of whether we've been living through a global pandemic, the past year was going to be the second year of the administration elected by residents in 2019. And the first year had been about putting together some plans about how councillors were going to work together and setting some priority areas for action. This second year has been much more about making sure the foundations are secure and starting to deliver on some of those priorities. Unlike at any other time in the town council's history, this administration does not have any one political party in overall control. And this means that collaborative working has been necessary and through frequent open dialogue has been successfully achieved in the past year. Almost all of the council's business in 2020-21 has been done online. We've held 8 full town council meetings with average attendance of councillors at meetings continuing to be more than 10% higher than in the previous administration. Furthermore, having the meetings online has made it easier for local residents to observe council proceedings, and thanks are due to those residents who have joined the meetings. The Planning Committee has met separately online 16 times. The Finance and General Services Committee has met 5 times, and the English Heritage Liaison Committee twice. Councillors have also met regularly with staff from HS2 Limited and their main contractors. Details of these meetings have always been made available online on the council's website and Facebook pages. As part of the council's aim to keep residents better informed about what's going on and in the interests of openness and transparency, the council has posted more than 350 times on its Facebook page in the past year, and in March 2021 there were 41 posts alone. Although the council has some way to go before it has as many followers as Kenilworth Vibes, the number of people who liked the council's Facebook page in the past year increased by 20% to more than 1,200 people. On top of the council's formal meetings, the 6 working groups which the new administration had set up in the previous year, namely for climate action, communication, cycling, projects, tourism and town centre, have all met several times online throughout the year. In total, these meetings represent several thousand person hours voluntarily put in by local councillors. However, the really great thing, or in addition, the really great thing about these working groups is that as well as elected councillors, they also enable local residents to take part and contribute towards making Kenilworth an even better place in which to live, work and visit. So huge thanks if you're one of those local residents who've shared your valuable input. And again, to put it bluntly, it's participation like this in how our community is organised is what democracy is all about. I'm now going to talk briefly about what we've been doing to invest in Kenilworth. One of the primary responsibilities of the Town Council is to invest taxpayers' funds in Kenilworth projects to enhance the quality of life for residents, to improve the trading environment for our businesses, and to provide an even better experience for visitors to the town. In normal times, the extent to which this can be done by the Town Council is limited, even during the COVID-19 pandemic, from trying to make however, this is not to excuse the council, because even during the pandemic, from trying to make a difference and doing so hopefully not by patronisingly doing things for people, nor by doing things to people, but rather by working collaboratively with people. So here are a few examples of what councillors have done with Kenilworth residents in the past year. We agreed to invest part of the first tranche of the Community Infrastructure Levy money, the so-called SIL money, which arises from the new homes being built in Kenilworth, in improved facilities at Talisman Theatre. And this will help provide better drama facilities for our young people and attract more visitors to the town. We've provided new grip bins at each of our primary schools, which hopefully will mean that footpaths are safer for children, parents and carers during the winter. We've made grants available for local community groups working to support adults and young people with mental health issues, one of the major consequences of COVID. We've agreed to provide funding alongside District Council SIL money to improve signage for tourists in the town. We provided support in kind, mainly photocopying of newsletters, for the work of the COVID-19 Support Kenilworth Group. And we made money available to support the VE Day's 75th anniversary celebrations, the Arts Festival work in Talisman Square, Remembrance Day and 21st November commemorations, new High Street Christmas lights, the Kenilworth Lions Christmas Carol online event, the traditional Boxing Day Mayor's Welcome at the Castle, which did go ahead, detached youth work at the Kenilworth Centre, bikeability training, and events to boost the pre-Christmas trading opportunities for our shops. Now, working with community groups like this is an inspiration because in vetting grant applications, councillors get the chance to meet groups and hear what amazing work they're doing. In the past year, this has all been done online, and while some cancelled events did not require the council's support this past year, it should never be forgotten that taxpayers' funds are limited, and so regular ongoing support for activities and events should never be taken for granted. One of the major pieces of work on which progress has been made in the past year has been the work of the project committee for the £75,000 Open for Business initiative funded from the HS2 Business and Local Economy Fund. External contractors have now been appointed this past year for each of the three major work streams within this project, which during the administration's first year had to be completely renegotiated with HS2's grant managers Groundwork UK in order to make the initiative workable. In 2020-21, the Town Council also produced a new town centre guide for visitors to the town, showing key places of interest, and copies of this leaflet were also given to local estate agents to welcome new residents in Kenilworth, and we've had lots of positive feedback about that. During the past year, the council also passed a motion to ensure that Kenilworth can move to the next stage in officially becoming recognised as a plastic-free town, similar to the way that Kenilworth has for many years been a fair trade town. And this motion built on the move first made by the council to remove single-use plastic items from its activities in 2017-18. Once this status as a plastic-free town is obtained, Kenilworth will be one of the few non-coastal towns with such a status. On the subject of national profile of Kenilworth, it was good to welcome the BBC Antiques Roadshow to our castle last summer, and one of the two episodes has already been seen. We've also seen the town feature on the recent BBC Frontline Fight Back programme about CCTV initiative in the town, and we've also been able to celebrate the success achieved by Kenilworth residents Mark Francis in last summer's BBC Sewing Bee competition, and also Sarah Jane Perry in winning the CIB Blackball Squash Open last December, which put her inside the world's top 6 best female squash players. Quite a coup for Kenilworth. Amongst the things that have happened outside the control of the Town Council has been the changes made by the District Council to the Kenilworth street cleaning service provided by external contractors, and in particular the withdrawal of the barrowman. And just as with both Leamington Spa and Warwick Town Councils, in Kenilworth we were unable to meet the significant extra financial costs involved in taking on such a responsibility ourselves. But I know the council will keep this matter under review. On a positive note, the council has welcomed the efficient way in which the district council has distributed central government grant money to support local businesses during the COVID pandemic, especially important to the town's vital retail, hospitality and leisure sectors. Also beyond the council's control was a decision taken in January by West Midlands Trains to suspend the train service at Kenilworth Station. The council had already been in contact with West Midlands Trains to express concern about the deterioration in the reliability of the service before COVID-19. And the restart of services, albeit limited today, April the 26th, is welcome, as was the presence of West Midlands Trains Head of Community Engagement at a community forum meeting, which the council organised last month. Hopefully the formation of the new Kenilworth Recovery Group under the auspices of the Community Rail Partnership, which will bring in all local councils, West Midlands Trains, local residents, local businesses and the local tourism sector, will enable the service to improve to such a level that it justifies the huge investment that was made in the station prior to 2018. On planning and development issues, in the next 5 years, as I'm sure everyone knows, our town will see a major increase in the number of new homes being built, especially on land east of Kenilworth and at Thickthorne. And one of the major roles of the Town Council is as a statutory consultee on planning applications. And one of the consequences of COVID-19 has been a huge increase in the number of home improvement applications that have been submitted as residents have sought to use funds that might otherwise have been spent on holidays or possibly entertainment on home property work, and also to provide facilities for working from home. The council is concerned to hear reports that the District Council's planning department has struggled to meet its own service standards for processing of applications because of this increase in volumes. But we do welcome the recent appointment of new staff at the District Council to address this issue. In total, the Town Council's Planning Committee has considered 176 planning applications in the past year. And one of the major factors in the Council's comments on any application is always the extent to which it may or may not comply with policies set down in the Kenilworth Neighbourhood Plan, which was almost unanimously voted through a few years ago by Kenilworth residents. Whilst there may be some subjective judgment that may apply in some cases, the Council has been concerned to see that in some instances, for example, in the development of Pears Close, a different view has been taken by District Council Planning Department staff in making their recommendation to the District Planning Committee. When the Town Council Planning Committee has made a formal objection on a planning proposal, the Council is always mindful of the need to present this objection also by speaking at the District Council Planning Committee meeting. It's understood that sadly this is a practice not followed by all other town and parish councils in the district. The Town Council has also been keen where the local plan and national building regulations allow to see that the highest possible environmental standards are achieved on new properties. The major planning applications which have caused the Town Council most concern in the past year are those relating to the land east of Kenilworth and the land at Thickthorn. Although the Council's Planning Committee voiced several concerns about the plans, the Council has also deferred any formal comment at this stage pending further reports on the two planning applications submitted by the District Council for Kenilworth's leisure facilities, namely at Abbeyfield swimming pools and for Castle Farm Recreation Centre. The Council generally welcomed the agreement by the District Council Planning Committee to the plans for the new site for Kenilworth Rugby Club on Warwick Road, but still has concerns about the refusal of the County Council Highways Department to recommend a reduction in the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit to 30 miles per hour outside the site, which is also adjacent to the new housing development known as the Pavilions. In addition to these routine planning applications, the Council has also submitted an objecting response to the County Council's consultation exercise for the proposed A46 strategic link road on land between Kenilworth and Warwick University. The Council is aware that during the past year, the expected completion date for the new Kenilworth School and Sixth Form site on Glasshouse Lane has been pushed back from September 21 to September 2022. It's known that the financial arrangements for this project are incredibly complex, but given the importance of the new school to 2,200 local students, it is hoped that there will be no further delays beyond this date. It is hoped too that landowners who benefit financially from these building developments will follow the historic philanthropic examples set by Messrs. William Edwards and William Arledge in centuries past in providing a long-lasting legacy for future generations of Kenilworth citizens. Finally, in relation to other developments in and around Kenilworth, there are some projects over which the Town Council sadly has no formal power or jurisdiction. These include HS2 construction work, for which the Council is represented at meetings hosted by our local MP with HS2 Limited and its main contractors, where several issues have been raised in the past year, including work on the Greenway and cycle path access on the A429. The Town Council has also welcomed the consultation exercise recently undertaken with residents by the County Council regarding the County Council's plans for pedestrian safety measures on Warwick Road. And now briefly about the Council's finances. In general terms, residents can rest assured that the Town Council's finances are healthy. The total income for the Council in the year just ended, March 2021, was approximately £226,000, of which the vast majority comprise the precept from local taxpayers of £186,000, the balance being various small external grants that were received. Civic hospitality during the year has obviously been minimal because of COVID, and as budgeted, no money has been spent on civic transport in 2020-2021. The Council's final accounts for the year ended March 2021 are still being prepared for independent external audit, but it's anticipated that the expenditure will be no more than £240,000 against the income of £226,000, with any excess of expenditure over income being covered by a transfer from the Council's reserves. Now, excluding the community infrastructure levy money of approximately £173,000, which has already been received, the Council's cash reserves of approximately £280,000, which is a sum equivalent to 14 months of Council expenditure. Of these reserves, approximately £155,000 is held in unrestricted general reserve, with the balance accounted for in earmarked special reserves for specific purposes. All surplus cash resources are held in capital secure accounts at the CCLA Investment Company. Moving briefly on, just to look forward to the next council year, 2021-22. For the sake of everyone in the town, it has to be hoped that the recent limited easing of lockdown constraints continues. We must continue to be vigilant against risking a return to the restrictions, and we should not expect, and in some cases not even seek, that life will quickly return to normal or what it was like before COVID. I think there are some things that we've learned to appreciate that hopefully we can take forward. Financially, a balanced budget has been set for 2021-2022 with a planned modest transfer of funds from our reserves. The precept has been held at £18.83 per annum for an average Bandy property, which is amongst the lowest for any comparable town council in the district. In the next 12 months, we must continue to cherish our newfound sense of community, just as we continue to respond to the other huge challenge that we face, namely the climate change emergency. Local government reorganisation will also require the council to consider taking on new responsibilities at some stage in the future. And we must ensure that we do so in a way that works with our district and county council colleagues and is democratically accountable and engaging with local residents. There will be lots of infrastructure developments in the next year, both a new school and new homes, and work on HS2 may be an even bigger disruption than in the past year. The new homes have the advantage of bringing the benefit of more SIL money, and the council will soon be consulting in the next council year with local residents to identify local priorities for expenditure. Beyond Kenilworth, in 2021-2022, the council shall hopefully at last be able to formalise the twinning arrangement with Roccamura in Italy, and also to welcome, of course, more visitors back to our amazing town. So, as always, but particularly through this past period of sustained progressive change, Kenilworth Town Councillors will remember that citizens are the foundation of the town, as our motto says, civis oppidi fundamenta. So that is the conclusion of my report. Apologies if it went on. There is a written copy of that which I can share, and if the town clerk is in agreement, I will now move on to the two questions which we've received. Okay, let me stop sharing that. Now, these two questions, I hope it's okay with the two people who've asked the questions if I take them both together, because they both relate to the same subject area. I hope that's in agreement. They both approach it from a slightly different angle.
Richard, excuse me, I would suggest they're very different. I appreciate they're both about the pool, but they're very different angles. One's about this year and one's about the long-term future.
Yes, I appreciate that they are both on the same subject. They are coming at it from different angles. I will quite happily take them as separate issues if that's easier. It's not a problem. Shall we deal with the short-term one first, and then the longer-term one second? That probably makes more sense.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I hope that's clear. So this first question, which was received from Joanne Hall, says as follows, and I'll read it out. I recently contacted a senior Warwick District Council officer asking when a decision would be made about the opening of the outdoor pool at Abbey Fields this summer. Initially, the officer responded saying that the District Council are making the decision based on data and not dates. Subsequently, when the data was looking favourable, I contacted the officer again and received the response that the decision would be taken based on other factors, including usage data, COVID-safe operating, the cost of preparing the pool for opening, and ongoing plans for the complete demolition of the pool. I believe, says the questioner, that everyone active, they're the people who operate the pool, have received COVID support payments in order to have all facilities ready for use. So the questioner says, I'm not sure why some of this money has not been directed at the outdoor pool. And now I see that decals have been stuck to the windows dividing the indoor and outdoor pools. It seems as if the District Council are employing delaying tactics, says the questioner, and hoping that by hiding the outdoor pool from the public gaze, people will forget about it. Time will pass and it will eventually be too late in the season to open it. So the question is, what steps are you taking to persuade Warwick District Council to open the outdoor pool this summer? This has been, by way of answer, obviously an issue that has exercised the Town Council, the opening or reopening of the outdoor pool over several months. Town councillors, and particularly those town councillors who are also district councillors, have in committee meetings and at full district council meetings asked district council to consider opening the outdoor pool. And I know that individual town councillors will be continuing to push for those for that to happen, because we are mindful that other outdoor pools in the UK have opened and attracting visitors to the town, as well as providing facilities for exercise. I know that the town councillors will be pushing this. Our next town council meeting isn't set until the 10th of June, which by which stage, I'm not saying that the summer is half over by then, but it is at least 6 weeks away. I'm sure town councillors will be corresponding with the district council if they feel motivated and exercised by this to encourage them to open the outdoor pool. I know also that district councillors have been written to and offers have been made of voluntary help to help with opening the outdoor pool, cleaning it so that it can be done. All I can say at this stage is that I know some town councillors will individually be making those representations. If the town council is going to do it by way of a motion, its next meeting to do that is set on the 10th of June. So it may well be a subject that comes up at that stage if there hasn't been any further movement from the district council to reopen the outdoor pool. I hope that answers your question, Joanne. Is there a supplementary you wish to follow up on that? Joanne, can you hear me?
No, she hasn't got any audio. She's having difficulties with her audio.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah. And the town council meeting's actually the 17th of June.
Is it? Ah, okay. I
Well-
thought. Okay. Apologies. I must have misread it off the website. Apologies. Let me move on to the second question, which has come in from Ruth Colgan. Let me just find this one. Thank you, Ruth, for this question. I will read it verbatim. It says, government is telling us about the benefits of outdoor sport and exercise for our physical and mental well-being. Following this advice, people are taking up outdoor exercise as a safer option than indoor facilities. And new Lidos and outdoor pools are opening or reopening all over the UK. So why is our town bucking the trend and replacing our outdoor pool? Is it time for a rethink? Well, as you know, this is a district council decision made to take the outdoor pool and replace it with an indoor swimming, teaching or training pool with facilities for disabled access. It is a district council decision, and over the past 3 years or more, many representations have been made by both town councillors, by I know also the Lido group, and those decisions have been listened to, but the district council has gone ahead with its proposals. Now, at the moment, this is subject to a planning application, as I referred to in the report. There are some town councillors I know and some district councillors who, for a whole variety of reasons, some of which are referred to in the question, it's possibly one of the lessons we've learned from COVID lockdown about the importance of outdoor exercise, not just for our physical health, but for our mental health too, and suggesting that it could be time for a rethink, not least because the finances of both the plans for the swimming pools at Abbey Fields and also at Castle Farm Recreation Centre are very significant. At the moment, I can advise that the district council does not appear to be wishing to change its approach in this matter. But I'm sure that there are, as I say, certain town councillors and district councillors who wholeheartedly would concur with your sentiment that it is time for a rethink on that. I can't really say any more than that because, Ruth, this is a district council matter. So it's slightly awkward for me to sort of say any more than that. Was there any supplementary you wish to come back on that, either by way of question or comment?
Well, thank you for your response, Mayor Dixon. I suppose I am still wondering, is there anything that the district council, leaving aside the cross rep, well, and that's not quite the word, right, that some of you sit on both bodies. I'm just wondering if there's anything that the town council can do to raise this issue, whether it's publicly or some behind the scenes conversations, because it just feels there's such a groundswell of support now, and yet we're still pressing down this route. You mentioned earlier about your massive commitment to tourism and how important that is for our town. But I've never seen either town council or district council really tap into the outdoor pools' potential to enhance this town's tourism offer and build a different strand, or draw in a different type of tourist, for want of a better term. The tourism offer seems to be very, very focused on our history, which is splendid, something we should indeed be proud of and utilise to develop tourism. But it's not the only gem in this town at all.
Yes, I can certainly confirm, because it's been stated on a number of occasions in district council meetings, that the district council's proposals were purely from a leisure perspective and did not take into account the tourism benefits that arise from having what is a unique facility in the county, at least as far as a publicly accessible outdoor swimming facility. You know, it's many miles to another facility like that. I think Droitwich is probably the nearest with an outdoor pool. And anybody who's ever stood in the queue outside the swimming pools during the summer months just has to hear the accents that are being used and know that it has been bringing people into Kenilworth who probably wouldn't have come in, or quite possibly wouldn't have come in, if it hadn't have been for the outdoor facility that was there. All I can say in answer to your question is that those concerns will still be made to district council. Their decision at the moment is that they are going ahead. That's why the plans have been submitted. As I said in my report, the Town Council Planning Committee has deferred a formal statement on those pending further reports. If those plans were to go ahead, then the two facilities would be closed for a period of probably 12 months, and certainly both at Castle Farm and at Abbeyfields would not reopen until the end of 2022. But that has to go through the planning process at this stage. I know, as I said, also that the Lido Group has written to the District Council on this issue, and we will be pushing for a response to be given to that. I haven't really got anything else to say on that.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for raising those questions. I'm glad that there is engagement on issues which are important to local residents still. Now that actually technically concludes the meeting as such. If you were in the meeting and have not given email to the town clerk but wish to get a copy of the report, then please just email the town clerk and we'll get one sent out to you. One will appear anyway on the town council's website and Facebook page, probably within the next 48 hours at the latest anyway. But thank you all very much for your participation this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
I think.
Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Very good report.
Yeah, very good indeed. Thanks, Richard. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you everybody for attending.